seen a return. The mall's packed. Like Canal Place, people are carrying their Louis bags,
Hey,
their
good evening,
Tiffany's
welcome back
bags,
to
and
Anthony's
everybody's
Check-In.
feeling better for sure.
I'm checking
What's
out
the name of your business?
Gutfeld
Reagan
show
Charleston
hair.
Jewelry.
Reagan Charleston. Mine's
Check it
Tyrus
out.
Jewelry.
It's,
Check it out. Bonkers,
very
you're an alpha
entertaining.
male.
That is right.
You're back, baby.
And badder than ever.
Yes.
I'm gonna open up.
I see the scruff.
Yeah, because that's what you do right before you open up your own jewelry store.
No.
Because I want to be matchy with you guys. I had to throw out my whole argument and whole point of view out the window after I saw that clip of Chris Zazilla and Van Jones, because like Chris Zazilla was doing the active listening thing, and just at one point he just launched. Like what was that all about?
I was just watching that going, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I tell you what, I'm just gonna do in a couple rails of Adderall and talk about how Trump just, and they're all perplexed by like, how did Trump do this? How did he outwit us? What did he do? And it's like, he was normal.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy how like common sense America responds to that. People have been talking about the illegal immigration problem since the 80s, and Trump's finally like, maybe we should build a wall. And America's like, thank God. And they've been fighting him and acting like he's come from outer space, you know, doing witchcraft ever since.
What is this accountability you speak of?
Right? What? Making people accountable for their actions and making government just a little smaller? It'll never work.
Not on our watch.
No.
Ortega, you're actual badass. Now, you were telling me in the green room, you've been in New Orleans, you've been
I'm good
training and
looking.
stuff. Do you see a trend? Do you see things changing? Are you excited as somebody who's been known for accountability, not take from nobody? You also can throw a roundhouse without dropping your beer, I've heard.
Yeah, something like that. I think, listen, I was at the Army-Navy game as well on Saturday. Everybody was so excited because it's finally, it's America's back, but it's like leadership is back, and just the ability to know that we're going to have somebody who is going to be in the room with Putin, who's going to be in the room with Xi Jinping, who's going to maybe be in the room with the Ayatollah Khamenei, and he's not his pants.
Literally.
Yeah.
Kat, earlier today you were on the 5, and I know you were
Twice in the same year.
Yeah. Whoa. You saw the speech or actually the press conference that President Trump had, where they were asking him tough questions, and then we saw a clip of Biden. Are you excited to see the term of actual people will be journalists again and will ask tough questions?
Yeah, I think that I like that people are asking tough questions. I mean, Biden, it's been since the summer, I believe, since we've really got a chance to have a press conference with him, but also just the difference in how those press conferences make you feel. Watching Biden is a little scary. Whenever you're watching him, you're just like waiting for it. You know it's going to happen, but you're waiting for the thing where you're like, And with Trump, I mean, there wasn't any answers where I felt bad for his PR people on any level, where it was, that's harsh, that's this and that. I thought he answered the questions, and maybe there was some fun ribbing back and forth. But even the Iran question, he's like, why would I answer that, basically?
Which makes sense.
And it was fun to watch. I think it was fun to watch. And I think that's a welcome change for a lot of people from being terrified to watch.
But the reporters were clearly into it. You could tell that they have just been deprived for 4 years of being able to, actually ask a commander-in-chief questions. And so, I mean, listen, if you want to talk about what's good for democracy, which the Democrats love to talk about, this is good for democracy. Having transparency and having a commander-in-chief who can answer the questions is good for democracy.
And, yes, there you go. We would end it there, but before we go, come see me on What It Is comedy tour in 2025. I'll be performing coast to coast in a city near you. Grab your tickets now at Linktree/Tyrus Smash. Up next, I hate rhyming, especially in the teases, but you know how I love my music, so I asked Reagan to give it a shot. Hit it, Reagan. Joe freed a crooked judge, and even the Dems are holding a grudge. Old Joe is still getting blasted for commuting the sentence of former Pennsylvania Judge Michael Conahan. The corrupt judge spent only 10 years of a 17-year sentence for accepting more than $2 million in bribes for sending kids to private juvenile detention centers. They called it Cash for Kids, which is probably, Joe thought it was Cars for Kids. Now even the Democrat Governor Josh Shapiro is calling Biden out. Roll it, Steve.
I do feel strongly that President Biden got it absolutely wrong and created a lot of pain here in northeastern Pennsylvania. There was all kind of mental health issues and anguish that came as a result of these corrupt judges deciding they wanted to make a buck off a kid's back. He deserves to be behind bars, not walking as a free man.
Well said. Well said. Now, remember when Democrats defended everything Biden did, no matter how stupid and destructive? I like this a lot better. I mean, hell, even the Amish are telling Biden to get with the times, old man. Reagan, I'm going to go to you first. Now, you're an attorney and you deal with a lot of issues with defending abused children, sex trafficking, etc. How disheartening is this, pardon?
We have a litigation department at Stockwit, Crease, and Overholtz where we represent people that have been abused in detention facilities. And the things that go on in detention facilities across the board are truly horrifying, and especially in for-profit detention facilities. These children likely emotionally abused. I mean, there are true atrocities. And the fact that he was only sentenced to 17 years to begin with is a crime. I mean, it's disgusting. But then to get off, I mean, he should have served his full sentence. This to me is just particularly repugnant. And to hear this story, I was really, really disappointed. But I'm glad to see that there's some accountability and that he's being called out for it.
Kat, it's refreshing that the Democrats are now starting to put themselves before party, put human basic stuff. This was a horrible pardon.
Yeah.
I don't see how he can even get. Is this Biden even making this pardon?
Yeah, I always think it's refreshing when people are okay with calling out their own side, and it is. But even though, you know, if you want to look at it on the negative, it did take.
Yeah, it's a little late. Yeah.
Someone letting someone off for selling kids.
Yeah.
To get them to actually, because people so rarely will do that these days. But yeah, is Biden, how much weight is he holding in these decisions? I think whenever I talk about this stuff, I'm always like, Biden administration or the Biden, is this amorphous thing that I think none of us really understand? Because you watch Joe Biden and you're like, that's not the guy. He's not sitting there like with a pen in his hand, like, okay, I've gone over the documents. And
we have the transcripts.
Yeah, according to my research, that I was up all night in the library looking over the documents. Yeah. I was in the laboratory.
I was working in the lab.
Yeah. Listen, look at this Excel spreadsheet that I've prepared for you all here. Now, to be fair, I'm also not doing that, but I am reading. Yes. And I also don't know that he's doing too much of that. And I mean, it's not really, is it really Joe? But it's, of course, I mean, abusing your power and doing something that's against kids are two of the most gross crimes out there, and those are combined.
I'd like to point out, not only are you reading, you're retaining, which is something
that's true.
That Joe has a problem with. Oregon, when this just bothered me to my core, like this, to Reagan's point, I thought he should, why didn't he get 50 or life? Like this was, he ruined lives for profit.
And why would you let someone off like that? I think for Shapiro, too, it's clear that the race for 2028 on the Democrat side is certainly starting. They're willing to throw Biden, Harris under the bus, whomever they have to. You're definitely going to see Josh Shapiro running for president. And it's so telling to me that the path to the nomination on the Democratic side is going to be by throwing Biden under the bus. And I got to tell you, we are definitely not done with these commutations and letting people off the hook. I mean, he's already obviously pardoned his son. I think you're going to see a lot over the next month, and it's going to get nasty. It's going to get dirty.
Speaking of nasty and dirty, take it away.
I thank you so much. I try to maintain my nasty, dirty street rep.
You doing it well.
I don't think any of these should hold up in court. Like, I think they should all be thrown out. There's like 1,500 of these Clement, and they're saying Biden didn't, specifically look at him, to your point. But it's like, he's not the president. Can't we all just admit that? Wasn't it just a little while ago? They were like, should Biden be brought up on charges? And the investigator's like, dude, he's not.
Yeah.
He can't. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. No jury would convict him. So it's like, we all just need to admit it. That dude is not the president. He's not commuting any sentences. Like there's some weird person nobody voted for who's like, how much money?
Obama.
Oh, thank you. Get out of jail free. How much money? There you go. Get out of jail free. Biden hasn't considered 1,500 anythings unless you're counting, should I trust that fart? I bet he's done that 1,500 times.
God.
And it will explain the following.
Break free with the new Opera GX, the browser that puts you in control. With a brand new design that frees up even more pixels for personalization and an inventory of features to
Up the stairs.
Okay, here to make us all feel better, because that's a depressing story. Okay, here's Reagan again to tell us what's next. Did Joe get embarrassed pretending to like Harris? Our video of the day comes to us from Joe Biden, who praised Vice President Kamala Harris at a DNC holiday event on Sunday. He laid it on thicker than slabs of bacon and Brian Stelter's scarfs down while on the toilet. Roll it, Nancy.
It's also been an incredible honor to serve with someone of immense character that she demonstrated through her entire career, Kamala Harris. I knew what I was doing when I asked her to be my vice president. She always served this country with purpose and integrity, and she always will. And you're not going anywhere, kid, because we're not going to let you go.
So generous of him. And it was a good distraction why Dr. Jill snuck up behind her with a Louisville Slugger. But President Biden, how do you really feel about her?
Yeah. Come on. I knew what I was doing when I asked her to be my vice president. I was picking a woman and a person of color, just like I said I would. Give me a break. What was I supposed to do? She always served this country with purpose and integrity. And one hell of a cackle. And she always will. I tell you, you're not going anywhere, kid. Especially not the White House. 'Cause you lost.
Loftus, you know what just cracks me up? Have you ever talked glowingly about someone while yelling? Like, man, he's a really nice guy. Like I think he's sending us a message.
Yeah, he was all over the vocal roller coaster on that one. I knew Kamala, because she's a great. He's looking around for her. Super creepy. And Kamala says she's not going to go quietly either.
Yeah.
She's like that old drunk at the bar at closing time. You know, you got the bottle back there. They're going to have to call the police because I'm telling you their crazy little jokes, and I know I'm going to be the California. Good luck with that, everyone.
Why is he still talking? Like, why does he still speak?
He is actually still the president, Tyrus.
What?
I know.
Someone tell President Trump that because he's making deals and.
Not just President Trump, like CEOs, world leaders, everybody has, moved on. Listen, maybe Kamala Harris will still be around. Maybe she'll come back in 28. She'll have to do something that she hasn't been able to do before, which is to actually get through a presidential primary and win it, which she hasn't done twice. So we'll see. I have a feeling that they might be moving on, though. It's kind of like she needs to watch that movie, He's Just Not That Into You. It's the American people, honey.
What's hard about talking about Kamala and President Biden, it's hard to ask specific questions about them because there's nothing there. It's like, Reagan, do you have anything to add to the ridiculousness of him scream praising Kamala?
Yeah, I think he forgot already. Like, I think he's just, like, totally out of it. Like, nobody's behind the wheel, and he's like, Kamala's great. She's great. Look at her. Yeah, you've got it, kid. And he has no idea. Like, the rest of the last, 6 months have been washed from his brain. He's just there at the party.
He doesn't even know the election's happened.
He's like, what?
So this Tuesday.
Yeah, no clue. That's my take on it. Or the joke's on us, and like the clip. I mean, he's really got that internal monologue going and the vocal roller coaster, really showing his real feelings. But no, I think he's just forgotten.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if his last day of presidency and he's done? He's like, man, I was going to get arrested, all this drama. Whew, woo, I'm good, I'm free, and he wasn't any of this at all. It was all an act.
Yeah, I've said this before, but I kind of just want to see more of him. You know, like before there was a reason to keep him from talking because, you know, they wanted, for whatever reason, actually have him be the president again for another 4 years, as if anybody thought that was possible. But they made him so he couldn't talk. But now it's let him talk. You know, I feel like everybody gets that Netflix deal after the president. This one I'm actually interested in. Just like him behind a microphone with a podcast. He doesn't even need it. He doesn't even need guests, I feel like.
Context. Yeah.
He will envision them.
He'll
So
just say
it'll
some random weird.
vision the guest. You don't need to actually fly the guest. They'll be like, he'll think someone's in the chair. Saves on costs of flying people out to appear on the pod. You know, I would watch. You all would watch.
True.
Everyone would watch.
I'd watch him like get in an argument with like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or so whatever invisible friend.
Yes.
Yeah, and
I
just
hope-
call it "Come On, Man."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or going into the light with Joe Biden. Like I would.
This week, Joe interviews his Uncle Bozy. Tell me about the cannibals, Uncle Bozy.
We can
a
finally
blow-up
meet
doll in a
Corn. We
chair.
can finally meet Corn Pop. Like, who is Corn Pop?
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't do it. I mean, man, if I worked at a production company, we'd already have ink on the paper.
Maybe you bring him in as a co-host on your podcast.
On my Sunday radio show on Sirius XM Patriot Channel 125. Yeah, maybe I would totally. I mean, listen, I would interview the president. Why not? But I also feel like kind of bad making fun of him now. It feels like kicking a puppy. Like, you know, just let him go.
We're not making fun of him. We want, like Kat said, we want more.
I want to hear what he has
Just
to
Not
say.
worldwide
Quiet for too
consequences
long.
every time he speaks. Now you've upset me. Reagan, take it away. Trump gets rid of DST. Sounds. Reagan, President-elect Trump announced his plans to permanently eliminate daylight savings time. Daylight saving time, not a venereal disease. Cool. All right. Describing it as inconvenient and costly while gaining support from Elon and old V-Dog. That's Vivek. What are your thoughts?
Well, I really loved fallback when I was in college at LSU because we'd get an extra hour at the bar. So you're like robbing college students of that one night where they just got to go on for another hour.
It would be on my birthday sometime.
Yeah, wasn't it great?
For them, it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But I mean, I really do love fallback, and that's what's going to go away, as I understand it. It will just stay the hours that are set during Spring Forward.
No, I thought it was the opposite.
I
I think it's the opposite.
Is it the opposite? I don't know. I'm particularly confused.
All right,
but
cut, rewind.
yeah. No, I really do. I think it's the hours that are set during Spring Forward, it stays. So you get the longer days during
No,
the summer.
he wants the opposite.
The opposite?
Yeah.
Wait,
Which I
because
don't
you guys live in the East Coast and you live in Central Time. Fight.
Get rid of daylight savings
But-
time means get rid of the thing, and I spend a lot of time reading this because it is confusing. Get rid of the thing where it stays out lighter, more long.
You will have long summer nights.
Longer.
There's confusion here. The study.
I have been up since 3 o'clock this morning. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yes.
There are multiple studies, though, that show that it's like bad for people on like an emotional and mental level, and they're not as productive.
I'm
You're
experiencing
actually
it right
using
now.
More energy. Yeah. So I think that they're right in moving in this direction. But what does it really mean?
Introducing Chewy is the proud partner of your Toronto Maple Leafs and their pets. At Chewy, you can get everything delivered for life with pets. Score pet faves at the Leaf Shop today.
I don't know. I'm still confused.
Is this fair to Arizona? Because this is like one of the cool things about Arizona. One of the reasons why you move there, cactus, hot ass weather, and not being affected by the time changes.
Yeah, it would be nice not to have the time change anymore, but I think, I don't know, I always like those long summer nights at the same time. It's kind of depressing when it gets dark at like 4:15 in the afternoon. Either way, we should just keep it one way. I also do think that this is like a little bit of first world problems. Like a lot of people are like, I don't get to eat today. And we're like, don't change the time, don't change the time. So, you know, just pick one. I actually don't even care. Just pick one and let's stick with it. So that way we don't have to, you know, keep changing the hours on the microwave.
Oh, that's.
Do you still have to do that?
I don't know.
Maybe I have a
used to
dumb
just-
microwave.
I'm fat. I just wanted to put the microwave on to get the food. So,
I love how we have this argument like it's not affected by the Earth's rotation around the sun. You know?
Well, we never pay
like
attention to the Earth, like months, days, global warming. Like the Earth doesn't like life. There's like been 5 mass extinctions where the Earth figures out. I think this time around, Earth's going to figure out how to use practice and just suffocate us all.
Right?
They just don't like.
It's like
no respect.
People talk about this like we can adjust when the sun actually comes up and when it sets. Right? It's like, oh, and then there's the argument about, oh, you spring forward and you fall back and you lose this and I like this. Just stop it. Just stop it. Altogether. It makes everyone just a little bit dumber.
Yeah,
because people like me do research. Like, how did this even start?
Is that where that saying comes from? You think the sun rises and sets on you? Is that arrogant?
It probably does. But this is
It started in 1942 as a wartime measure.
Right?
Oh.
Bet you guys didn't expect me to know that, huh?
Because the Germans did it in World War I. Again, the Germans did it in World War I, so Europe followed. So America's like in World War II came around like, ooh, we should do that. And they're like, did Germany win? No, they didn't. So why would you want to be like the losers? It's absolutely stupid. So here's what I say. Let's do it. Let's just move the clocks a half hour up and stop.
Split the dip.
Yes.
That's what we do here.
That's maybe the worst idea you've ever had.
How so? Or is my simple genius
30
frighten
minutes
you?
ahead. No, I like the long summer nights, and honestly, I think it's so depressing when it gets. What I actually do want is to change the way the Earth moves. That's actually what I would like, so we can have it long winter night. But then again, it's like I'm inside in the winter anyway, so. But when it gets dark out earlier, it is depressing. Except now that I don't do activities anymore since I got pregnant, I don't care as much.
Well, I think we solved this issue. So 15 minutes ahead. Cool. Everybody cool with that?
I'm fine with that.
15? 50, solid
Nope,
15?
long summer nights. I'm not going to be pregnant next summer, so I'm going to have a drink.
Bin übelst heiß, kann bestätigen, meine Freundin fühlt sich schlecht, deswegen, oh nein, Dagon. Dann auch mal aufhören, ins Gym zu gehen, sage ich. Hexe fangen, um Frauen zu beeindrucken. Ja, Chat, das ist no joke, etwas, das kann beeindrucken. Keine Frage.